I feel like if I was to make that difference and show them that, like, I came from a poor place, maybe it could be, like, motivation for other little Indian kids to be like, oh, she made it, I can do it.
Hello, I'm Emmy DeGrappa. Each week, we bring you stories asking our guests the question, why? We learn about their passion, why they do what they do, why should we care, and what can we learn? What better place to explore the human landscape than from the state known for its incredible landscapes, Wyoming? And what better organization than Wyoming Humanities? Serving our state for over 45 years, we share stories, ideas, and wisdom about the human experience. This is What's Your Why? Today, we are talking to Jacoby Hereford Jr. He is a student at Central Wyoming College, studying business administration, and he is Eastern Shoshone. Welcome.
Hi.
Tell me, what made you want to go to school and get an advanced degree?
What made me really want to go to school is to obtain a lot of knowledge and bring it back to my community and help my people.
And what do you think makes you different, being a Native American and growing up? Did you grow up on the reservation?
Yes, I have.
How does that make you different than non-natives? What do you think are the differences there?
Growing up on the reservation, I feel like the families are much more closer than non-Native Americans. I feel like we have a lot of support from each other. And when we leave the reservation, we kind of go away from all that support and we feel the need to come back to the reservation.
So you feel a desire to return to the reservation after you graduate?
Correct.
And what do you think in terms of getting a business administration degree? How does that really help? I mean, what kind of skills are you going to bring back to the reservation that is going to make a difference?
I hope that one day I can be one of the leaders or come back and work as one of the executive directors and help direct one of the programs.
So in your understanding, what makes you a tribal leader? Do you want to be a tribal leader? Is that the goal?
It's one of my ambitions, but also I wouldn't mind being an executive director of one of the programs.
So when you say, I'm going to get a business administration degree, what kind of business? What kind of business can you do on the reservation?
Well, that's like the main question. There's not a lot of job opportunities that we have on the reservation. With that being said, there isn't really much opportunities with job-wise. But to come back with a degree and, hopefully encourage and motivate others to do the same would be my main goal.
If there was a need with your degree in business administration, what kind of business are you going to develop? Besides just being really general, but do you have a specific passion?
Not for business. I do get the question a lot if I want to run my own business. I'm kind of just looking for something that's kind of already there.
Okay, so what businesses are operating on the res?
Well, we have the Tribal Employment Rights Office, known as the TARO. We have tribal complexes. We have finance buildings that, I think would be a great opportunity to step up and help work those.
Do you see that an education helps bring people out of poverty?
I think so. I think it helps them, get the feel of being off the reservation and being able to leave and go out there and, come out of that comfort zone and just be themselves.
What do you think are the greatest obstacles facing young people on the reservation?
I think one of the main obstacles is having to leave your family. Some of us have different family situations, deaths, people have, families they have to come back to.
It's not drugs and alcohol and poverty that are keeping kids from advancing in their careers. Do you think that plays a part in it?
I do. I feel like it kind of does change the decisions on some of the younger individuals we have on the reservation.
Maybe a business opportunity would be to open up a counseling center for young people who want to leave the reservation but don't know how to do it.
Yes, I think a counseling center would be probably the best option in this choice because it would help the Native American youth think of other things, like think of all the things they could accomplish without drugs and alcohol around.
So what are like the big dreams that you see young people having in terms of how can they stay on the reservation, but how can they be part of the non-native community, but advance themselves without losing their culture?
Well, like myself, I've grown up on the reservation and just becoming more involved with the academic stuff they have, like clubs, student government association. I think that's what helped me.
Do your peers encourage you, like the people you went to high school with, do they encourage you to go on?
Yes.
Is there a stigma that you're getting a white man's education?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Do you find that a challenge?
Yeah, it's a challenge. I feel like some natives feel like, we just kind of get our degrees for ourselves. But, in my case, I'm coming back for my people to help my community grow.
What do your mom and dad say about that?
They encourage me all the time. I have a really good family support, as well as people I look up to that motivate me, such as my grandparents and just other family members that got their degrees.
Oh, that's good to hear. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
And now we are talking to Ciara Faris, and she is another Native American student, and she grew up on the reservation, and she is Eastern Shoshone as well. Welcome, Ciara.
Hello.
How would you describe growing up on the reservation?
This is probably going to make me sound like a bad person, but from when I was on the reservation, like, I never thought of myself as poor. And I'm really living in poverty, like, that's poverty. And, like, I never thought as being poor. I thought I was rich, matter of fact. I have a lot of my family that support me, and then I get that cool view of the mountains, and I can leave into the mountains whenever I wanted. I never thought of myself living poor. It was a bad, and, like, when I actually moved off the reservation and, like, had to live in Riverton on the student center part, I seen that it's different because, like, I really noticed that I was really living in a different place instead of being in poverty. And I think that the differences are is when I was living I still am kind of, living on the reservation just kind of teaches you to be humble, be more appreciative of what you have instead of materialistic things.
And so you feel like that's part of your upbringing and your culture?
Yeah.
What made you want to pursue an education?
Because I know that, being young, that kids are going to look up to you no matter what. Even if you don't want to be a role model, they're still going to look at you. And I feel like if I was to make that difference and show them that, like, I came from a poor place, like, maybe it could be, like, motivation for other little Indian kids to be like, oh, she made it, I can do it, even though, like, I come from a bad place.
But I think that's interesting because it sounds like you came from a really good place.
Well, I guess I wouldn't say a good place. I guess I did come from a bad background, but my family made me feel like it was a good place living there, like the love and support that I had from my grandma's side. I ain't gonna lie, like I have a really dysfunctional family, I guess you could say. But with my grandma's side being there, it didn't ever make me feel like I had a dysfunctional family, until I really understood it in psychology.
What are you getting your degree in?
Psychology and art.
Why did you choose psychology?
Because when I took psychology class in my senior year, and I learned a lot about the brain and your emotions, and I just thought that there's more to what Native Americans and, like, what they've been through. I think there's a lot of emotional issues and, like, dysfunctional issues among them, and I just wanted to study it just to see if, like, be something I really wanted to do, and I really like it. Like, I think I can do what I want.
And what is it you want to do with that degree?
Well, I wanted to study historical trauma and its effects on Native Americans. And I think that if I was to study that it would help bring my people out of this, how would you say, this place of sadness, like, and struggle, I guess.
And help them have a brighter future.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, with your degree in psychology, do you plan on returning to the reservation to share your knowledge?
Yeah, I plan on sharing my knowledge with them and teaching them, like, about the different issues that's really common. Like, I didn't know that my family was so dysfunctional until I learned about it in psychology, and I didn't realize that a lot of what I went through was, like, hard, and, like, I probably needed, like, therapy, but I didn't, you know. I feel like there's a lot of Indian kids that need that someone to talk to, you know, and, like, tell them, and I think that, like, I could be one of those people that they're just comfortable because I'm a Native American myself that's been through the same thing.
Oh, I think that's great. What do you think are some of the stereotypes and even discrimination that you experience off the reservation?
There's still that hidden thoughts about Indians being dumb. I still feel like there's a lot of that still. A lot of people don't assume that an Indian would be able to do this, or like, because they're always thought of dirty or dumb back in the day.
And where do you think that comes from? Do you think that's just historical because Indians were put on a reservation and separated from everyone else? Do you think that's part of how that became about?
Yeah, even when you hear about that saying, what was it? Kill the Indian and save the man.
Oh, interesting. I have forgotten all about that saying. What are some of the other sayings that you know that are really derogatory like that?
I don't know. That's the main one that keeps me like, I have to do this to prove them wrong. Like, being Indian isn't just like something disgusting. Like, we're human. We still feel feelings, you know?
Right, you're people.
Yeah, we're people.
And I'm hoping that you have a message for the young people that will break down some of those stereotypes, because if they're still out, those kinds of things are still out there, then they're being replicated in other ways, and that's the thing you're trying to break. How do you think you can do that?
I just want to, I don't know, I think maybe proving that an Indian can come from like a terrible hardships, and like to show them that like you come from a poor background and you're able to stand and like go through that society when it's hard, because education ain't cheap. It's expensive and it's hard work, you know. It's a lot of money.
Has that been a big obstacle for you to be able to afford to go to school?
I think that's a lot of obstacle, or that's like the main obstacles for most Indians is money. Thank God I got scholarships from my own tribe. Not everybody gets that scholarship, you know.
Do you have to have a certain grade point to get a scholarship? What are the rules?
I think you needed to at least have a GPA of 2.5 for that scholarship or higher.
Okay. And so then you're accepted into CWC. Can you get a 4-year degree in psychology at CWC?
I'm pretty sure you can. Because, like, with what I did, they were trying to tell me it was going to take me 4 years to double major in art and psychology, but I just kind of compacted and piled on my classes where I'm, like, doing it in 2 years, hopefully.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. You must be taking a lot of classes.
Yeah, I'm taking 19 credits as of right now.
Whoa. Well, you're serious.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. What are some of your other passions that are part of your culture that you want to share?
I really like art.
So what kind of art? What does that mean?
I like to paint and draw. I like to look at paintings, like the Renaissance paintings and like different various artists.
And so that's your artistic medium, is painting?
Yeah, and drawing, I guess, like charcoal and pencil.
Oh, I think that's beautiful. Well, thank you for being here today. Thank you for talking to me. Thank you for joining us for this episode of What's Your Why, a production of Think Why, Wyoming Humanities. This has been executive producer Emmy DeGrappa. Please subscribe and never miss a show. For more information, go to thinkwhy.org.